What's going on, everyone? Dustin sitting here with Nameco. Double gun. This is our bi-weekly baseball show. Plenty of stuff to talk about, but we're going to start with going over some minor league guys that their biggest prospects in the minors right now that could get called up. About this time is when they normally do get called up. They could have impacts in the second half. Brent, let's hit him with the guy who's the biggest name in the minors right now.
And that's Bryce Harper of the Nationals. This 18-year-old kid is playing great ever since he got his eyes checked out. He couldn't see, and now he's got some contacts in or whatnot. He can see again. And at 154 bats, he's got 9 home runs, 31 RBIs, batting over 350. You know, it's not a lock he's going to get called up this year, but we got to be talking about him, especially because he has catcher eligibility.
Yeah, it's probably going to need an injury out there for him to get called up this year, but it's going to be nice if he does. It could be definitely worth a pickup, and who knows? Who knows?
Hey,
what
they might need
happen.
ticket sales, too.
And next, we got Dominic Brown, a guy that's probably going to get called up fairly soon. He's out there with the Phillies. He's going to be on that good lineup. Just a guy to keep an eye on and probably go ahead and pick up in deeper leagues. We think he could have an impact, but go ahead and just take a gamble on him if you got a roster spot.
Next, we got Jesus Montero, the catcher for the New York Yankees. Out of all of these guys, we think he's going to be the most fantasy relevant this year when he gets called up simply because he is a catcher. So, you know, with all that drama with Jorge Posada and the fact that Russell Martin's already starting to slip, we expect him to get called up, you know, maybe June, maybe summertime, but keep an eye on it because when he does, he should be rosterable in all 10-team leagues.
And we know it's Jesus, by the way.
Yes.
It's a joke, one of those things.
Pause.
Next, we got Mike Trout with the Angels. With that aging outfield out there, they might be trying to get some young talent. They've been talking a lot of great things about this kid. A lot of people have him as one of the top 3 prospects in baseball. Just keep an eye on him because it does look like he's going to get called up at some point this season.
Next, we got Rizzo, the first baseman out there with the San Diego Padres. He was the offensive player of the month in April, and for good reason. 22 games, 7 home runs, batting over 400. It looks like he's going to be called up around June. You know, definitely got to keep an eye on.
And the last guy we're going to talk about has an amazing name, and that's Dustin Ackley with Seattle. It's a sweet name. You know, he's not necessarily tearing it up in the minors, but he's second baseman is what we like about him. You know, he's one of the best second baseman prospects in the game right now. It does look like he's going to get called up. So if you need help in that position in deeper leagues, go ahead and start keeping an eye on this guy because when he gets called up, could be worth a look. Moving on, let's do a little segment we're going to call Rapid Fire. That's right, 2 double guns in one show. Brent, give me your favorite sell high guy right now.
It's got to be Jose Bautista. I know he's playing out of his mind. He did it last year. He's proven us wrong. But hey, if you can get Albert Pujols, Longoria, Tulowitzki for him, do it. Just make the trade. All right, Dustin, your favorite buy low guy.
Give me some more no. I know everyone knows at this point that I'm a Twins fan, but this guy is a top 5 first baseman when he's healthy and playing well, and I think he's right around the corner of turning things around. Get him now, get him cheap. All right, Brent, we're about a third of the way into the season. A lot's changed since opening day. Which Red Sox outfielder would you rather have, Ellsbury or Crawford?
You know what? I believe in Crawford. They paid him over $140 million, and they didn't pay him that to have him bat 8th all year. I think he's going to turn it around. He's a better hitter than this. I'd rather have Crawford. All right, Dustin, relief pitcher time. Chapman out there with the Reds. What do you do with this guy?
I say go ahead and drop him. I mean, coming into the year, there is a legitimate chance that he could take over that closer role even without an injury to Cordero. But now there's really no way. This is such a setback. And from what he did, I really feel like there's a much deep-rooted injury type thing going on. I say it's time to go ahead and cut ties with Chapman. Alright, it's time to move into that waiver wire. Let's start with the guys we think are pretty much must-adds in all leagues, and 2 great young starting pitchers in Anibal Sanchez, and for the love of God, pick up Bud Norris. Both these guys are only owned in about 70% of leagues. Great K counts. You know, these guys really do have potential of being top-tier fantasy pitchers. Pick them up if they're still available. We like both of them.
Next, we got Peralta out there with Detroit. You know, he's only owned in 60% of leagues, third base and shortstop eligibility. A couple years ago, we thought he might be the next big thing. Didn't really pan out, but it looks like the talent, as it normally happens, is showing up a couple years later. Right now, he's batting .300 on the season, 6 home runs, 23 RBIs. If you need help at either position, he's the guy to grab.
It seems like he's been around forever, but he's still under 30 years old, surprisingly enough. Couple of young outfitters for you in Austin Jackson and Michael Brantley. Both these guys are starting to turn things around and going pretty good right now. Jackson only owned about 45% of leagues, Brantley in 30. Jackson's raised his average about 80 points in the last 3 weeks. We all remember what he did last year. Great young talent, and Brantley has the potential to fill it up across the board with 4 home runs, 5 stolen bases already this year. We like both these guys moving forward.
All right, we're going to get into the guys in deeper leagues or in shallower leagues to at least keep an eye on. We're going to start with Justin Turner, the second baseman for the Mets. He's young. It looks like he has the job on lock, and he's a second baseman eligible. Dump some old guy in your roster and get him instead. Young with upside. We always talk about that.
And a couple of really young starting pitchers that do have some upside is Alex White with Cleveland, only owning about 10% of leagues, and Jake Arrieta with the Orioles, only owning about 30% of leagues. Both these guys off to great starts in their careers. Alex White, 2 straight quality starts. Arrieta, 7 of his 9 starts so far this year have been quality starts.
Unbelievable.
Both these guys have good K counts. They haven't really gotten deep into games yet. Both are only really going about 6 innings per outing. But both these guys, great young talents and worth a look.
Now I got 2 first basemen. You know their names. They had bad years last year, and if you pick them up, they're going to give you no trade value. But they could help your team. And the first one I'm talking about is Carlos Pena, out there with the Cubs, owning 50% of leagues. You know what his deal is. He gives you those power number, those home runs, rotisserie leagues. If you need to bump up, he's the guy to be grabbing. And then with Helton, Colorado, first baseman, 35% of leagues. He's going to give you a little bit of power. He's batting over 300 right now. So again, probably not much trade value, but could help your situation.
Next, we got a catcher for you, and Jonathan Lucroy with Milwaukee, only on about 15% of leagues. Interesting young catcher, little bit of power. He's batting well over 300 right now. Who knows if he's going to keep it up, but if you need a catcher, you can do a lot worse. Pick him up and see what happens.
It's now time to talk about the Cardinals closer, since that's a rotating thing. The saga continues, and Fernando Salas looks to be the leader in the clubhouse right now for him. 30% owned. If you're looking for saves, he's the guy getting opportunities right now.
For now. So that's our bi-weekly show. As always, get into those forums. We love talking some baseball. I'm Dustin. This is Brent. Stay tuned for all our football stuff just around the corner.